Today is April 29th. Welcome to Big Book Daily. My name is Rob. I am an alcoholic. It is a thrill, honor, and joy to be here with you today as we journey through the Big Book of Alcoholics Anonymous and the 12 Steps and 12 Traditions. Today out of the Big Book, we're going to be reading Personal Stories, Part 2, They Stopped in Time, Story Number 9, It Might Have Been Worse, pages 355 through 358. We're actually going to finish that story today. And out of the 12 and 12, we are going to continue with Tradition 1. Bottom of page 129 going to the top of page 130. So with all that, my friends, hope you're doing well this morning. Life is good here. We've been given a brand new set of 24 hours, and it's up to us today to decide who we want to be. So with all that, my friends, let's go ahead and get to the good stuff. All right, my friends, so if you recall out of the Big Book's reading yesterday, our friend here in It Might Have Been Worse, he has finally started to go to AA. I love this last part that we read yesterday. They meant patience, tolerance, and humility, and above all, the belief that a power greater than myself could help. That power I chose to call God. So we're going to continue and finish that thought again. We're reading 356 through 358 today. A willingness to do whatever I was told to do simplified the program for me. Study the AA book. Don't just read it. They told me to go to meetings, and I still do at every available opportunity, whether I'm at home or in some other city. Attending meetings have never been a chore for me. Nor have I attended them with the feeling of just doing my duty. Meetings are both relaxing and refreshing to me after a hard day. They said, get active. So I helped whenever I could, and I still do. A spiritual experience to me meant attending the meetings and seeing a group of people all there for the purpose of helping each other. Hearing the 12 steps and the 12 traditions read at the meeting. Hearing the Lord's Prayer, which in an AA meeting has such great meaning. Thy will be done, not mine. A spiritual awakening soon came to mean trying each day to be a little bit more thoughtful, a little more considerate, and a little more courteous to those with whom I came in contact. To most of us, making amends will take the rest of our lives, but we can start immediately. Just being sober will be making amends to many that we've hurt by our drunken actions. Making amends is sometimes just doing what we are capable of doing, but failed to do because of alcohol. Carrying out community responsibilities such as community funds, Red Cross, educational and religious activities in proportion to our abilities and energy. I was desperately in earnest to follow through and understand what was expected of me as a member of AA, and to take each step of the 12 as rapidly as possible. This meant telling my associates that I had joined Alcoholics Anonymous, that I didn't know what was expected of me by AA, but that whatever it was the most important thing in my life for me. That sobriety meant more to me than anything in this world. It was so important that it must come ahead of anything. There are many short phrases and expressions in AA that make sound sense. First things first. Solve our immediate problems before we try to solve all the others and get muddled in our thinking and doing. Easy does it. Relax a little. Try for inner contentment. No one individual can carry all of the burdens of the world. Everyone has problems. Getting drunk won't solve them. 24 hours a day. Today is the day. Doing our best, living each day to the fullest is the art of living. Yesterday is gone, and we don't know whether we will be here tomorrow. If we do a good job of living today, and if tomorrow comes for us, then the chances are we will do a good job when it arrives. So why worry about it? The AA way of life is the way we always should have tried to live. Grant us the serenity to accept the things we cannot change, courage to change the things we can, and the wisdom to know the difference. These thoughts become part of our daily lives. They're not ideas of resignation, but the recognition of certain basic facts of living. The fact that AA is a spiritual program didn't scare me or raise any prejudice in my mind. I couldn't afford the luxury of prejudice. I had tried my way and failed. When I joined AA, I did so for the sole purpose of getting sober and staying sober. I didn't realize that I'd find so much more. But a new and different outlook on life started opening up almost immediately. Each day seems to be so much more productive and satisfying. I get so much more enjoyment out of living. I find an inner pleasure in simple things. Living just for today is a pleasant adventure. Above all, I am grateful to AA for my sobriety, which means so much to my family, friends, and business associates. Because God and AA were able to do for me something I was unable to do for myself. Man, great stuff once again, man. Every single one of these stories, they end with just that last punch. And it's always a good one. Can't wait to come back to this in just a minute. All right, my friends, so we began our 12 traditions yesterday, and tradition number 1 says, our common welfare should come first. Personal recovery depends upon AA unity. All right, and yesterday we read, no AA can compel another to do anything. Nobody can be punished or expelled. Our 12 steps to recovery are suggestions. 12 traditions which guarantee AA's unity contain not a single don't. They repeatedly say, we ought, but never, you must. All right, so let's go ahead and continue. We're just reading one paragraph today, so short reading, bottom of 129 to the top of 130. To many minds, all this liberty for the individual spells sheer anarchy. Every newcomer, every friend who looks at AA for the first time is greatly puzzled. They see liberty verging on license, yet they recognize at once that AA has an irresistible strength of purpose and action. How, they ask, can such a crowd of anarchists function at all? How can they possibly place their common welfare first? What in heaven's name holds them together? And these are all very legitimate questions. How in the world does this work and continue to work over all these years? Well, stay tuned for tomorrow's reading. Good stuff there. Going back to the big book real fast, there's so many things that were mentioned here I'd like to just bring up as quickly as I can. I'm trying to limit my rambling here. And please know, I try to keep this about me. If I ever come across preachy, that is not intentional. And I try to keep it just centered on how I can apply this to my life today. And a little behind the curtain here, one of my prayers I try to pray before every single recording is, God, please help me help one. Oftentimes I think I'm the one, I think I need to be reminded of these things. And this has helped me tremendously. So if it's not helping anybody else, I want to keep doing this because it's helping me. And I hope you'll just humor me. Take some of the things I say with a grain of salt. But going back to it, I love a few things that were mentioned here. To most of us, making amends will take the rest of our lives, but we can start immediately. Just by being sober, we will be making amends to many that we've hurt by our drunken actions. I heard the phrase, a man is what a man does, right? We can say sorry all we want to, but if we start drinking again, our actions prove that we still got a lot of work to do. And we haven't truly admitted that we were powerless. And we haven't made those amends. But just by being sober, that's action, right? We are making an amends to our family, to our friends, because we're trying to be our best selves. And it really starts with putting the bottle down. I love this, the follow-up line. Making amends is sometimes doing what we are capable of doing, but fail to do because of alcohol. So the good things that we didn't do while we were drinking, if we start doing those again. He gives some examples: carrying out community responsibilities, Red Cross, educational, religious activities in proportion to our abilities and energy. There's so many things we can do, good things we can do now that we've put the bottle down. He even does a breakdown of some of our favorite cliches. First things first. Solve our immediate problems before we try to solve all the others and get muddled in our own thinking and doing. Solve the easy stuff first. Don't worry about all that other stuff yet. Easy does it. Relax a little. Says here, try for inner contentment. No one individual can carry out all the burdens of the world. Everyone has problems. And getting drunk won't solve them. Amen to that. No one's perfect, but one thing is for sure. Drinking for us, for me, that's not going to be any better. 24 hours a day. It says here, today is the day. Doing our best, living each day to the fullest is the art of living. Yesterday's gone. Now, don't get me wrong. Yesterday's not useless. For me, I try to review what I did yesterday. I journal it. And I try to pray, what can I learn? How can I be a better man today than I was literally yesterday? And break it down into small steps. If I was resentful yesterday, have I prayed for that person today? If I did something wrong to somebody yesterday, have I made an amends either yesterday, or if I haven't, do I need to make one today? Little things like that. Was I scared? Was I fearful yesterday? How can I get rid of that fear today? Have I given it to my higher power yet? Yesterday's gone, and we don't know whether we will have tomorrow. If we do a good job of living today, and if tomorrow comes for us, then the chances are we will do a good job when it arrives. So why worry about it? Easier said than done, right? But worrying doesn't help a thing. You know, I look back at my journals and I look back at things I wrote about, say, a year ago, 2 years ago. And my higher power has always helped me land on my feet. And all the things I worried about back then, they weren't that important. Half of them I'd forgotten about, more than half probably. So why worry? It's just going to shorten our lives if we do. And then finally, the last thing I'll say here, and I'll hush after this, I promise. I love this last paragraph. Second to last paragraph. When I joined AA, I did so for the sole purpose of getting sober and staying sober. I didn't realize that I would find so much more. But a new and different outlook on life started opening up almost immediately. Each day seemed to be so much more productive and satisfying. I get so much more enjoyment out of living. I find an inner pleasure in the simple things. Living just for today is a pleasant adventure. I can relate to everything that was just said there. I'm way more productive now. I don't let fears creep in as much as I used to prevent me from doing what I love to do. I find joy in the simple things, right? Looking up at the blue sky, looking around at all the beautiful things before me. Just going for a walk and looking at the world through a different lens of awe and wonder. And thanking my higher power for allowing me to see it and to live today. It's funny. When I was drinking, and if I were to look at myself now, I'm like, man, that seems so lame. But when you put the bottle down and you realize how blessed you are and how amazing this world truly is, you're like, man, what I was doing before was lame. Just sitting in the garage drinking, blacking out, just existing, barely existing. That's lame. For the first time in my life, I feel like I'm really living. And I think it's only going to get better. I look at the old timers who have good sobriety. I'm like, man, that gives me hope for the future. But I'll only get there one day at a time. That's all we have today, guys. I hope you have a beautiful day. It is a thrill, honor, and joy, again, just to be in this Lifeboat of Recovery here with you. And I don't speak on behalf of AA, NA, Al-Anon, any religion, any political organization, sect, denomination. I am just a friend in recovery, reading 2 books that mean the world to me. If we are given another set of 24 hours, I look forward to seeing you back here tomorrow.